Hey everyone, in this video I am going to talk about one of the very common use cases on Bitscale and how you can use that to power your entire GTM motion. So right now what you see on the screen is Bitscale's platform. Once you have signed up and you have created some of your workflows, this is what you would see. So for example, these are all my workflows that I have created based on some complex or fairly simple scenarios. Now, what did I mean by talking about one of the most and primary use cases, that you can do on Bitscale? So for that, let me go to this motion graphic here. So what essentially you see here at this point is most of an entire, like in fact, entirely your sales team entirely lives on the CRM, from sales ops to SDRs to BDRs to your account executives. Bitscale's tool connects and lives in the background of this CRM. This is one of the very common use cases that our customers use us for. In this screen, I've taken the example of HubSpot, but we integrate with other CRMs like Salesforce, Atio, and others. Essentially, either for the leads that are already present in HubSpot, or if you find some leads through Bitscale, we find them through multiple channels. It can be very intent led. We are finding them through keyword monitors, through competitor monitoring, through hiring signals. And these are pre-made playbooks. Of course, you can make a ton of other things using Bitscale as well. But these are some very common use cases that, as examples, I have taken here. And once you get leads from here, either you get it in the form of companies or you get it in the form of the leads in these companies, you can very well do your ICP classification. You can do all sorts of research at a company level and at a person level. Once you do that, you find the decision makers and you sync it back to HubSpot. At the same time, how do you make it actionable? You keep Bitscale in the background. Bitscale runs weekly, daily, an hourly basis, whatever frequency that you define. And whenever there are any high priority alerts, they can be sent directly to Slack or addressed to your sales team SDRs so that they can take the action. Now, what does this look like in action? So for this demo, I'm taking like 5 random companies that are present in my HubSpot list. So this is a custom segment or list that I have on HubSpot. 5 companies that were added through one of the campaigns that, for example, that I'm doing right now. I do not have all their details with me. And these are some of the details that my SDR team would need for some context, for some qualification in order to reach out to them. For example, their LinkedIn company page, if they want to do further research on them, what is the sector and industry? Because based on this, I would divide this account list amongst my SDRs based on the territory that they manage. I don't have much other information on their money in the bank, their revenue, and other relevant intent signals. Like sometimes you don't know what is a relevant signal at a company level that might be a good trigger for you to reach out to them. So most of the times this is something that your SDRs would do manually. So I essentially want all this data to be filled up so that my SDR team can act on it. How does this happen? Now going to Bitscale's platform, essentially what I did in order to get that set up is I pulled that entire list onto our platform. You will see that all the 5 records that were present in the HubSpot, they are present here in the Bitscale grid. How did I do that? Essentially, as simple as connecting any data source. So we give multiple options through which you can connect your data sources onto the platform. The option that I used was HubSpot lists. Essentially went here, connected my account, and I was able to fetch the relevant HubSpot list. The list that you see here is the same one that I showed you in this different tab, where I have all these companies, and I don't have all of their data. Now the same scenario happens here. I get all the relevant data that I can get about these companies from HubSpot, and the other columns are empty. What I go forward doing is I set up these enrichment columns, essentially doing research about this company, about their current market status. So for example, I'm cleaning and getting the LinkedIn profile URLs for all these companies. Previously, I had the LinkedIn URL for only 3 of the companies, which is Stripe, DevRev, and Datadog. I was able to clean and fetch the LinkedIn URL for all. Similarly, I have done it, and I'm setting up these specific enrichment columns. We have what we call as Bit Agent. It does any kind of online website-based, LinkedIn-based research and gives you all the relevant data. So for example, here I'm getting the industry classification, the total revenue not revenue, the total funding that these companies have raised. So I previously only had that information for the case of Stripe, which is the first row. I was able to get it for the other four companies, which you see here. So this is the cleaned column, cleaned amount raised column. The same is the scenario with revenue. I only had the revenue for Stripe. I'm able to get it for the other four companies, again using BitAgent. As simple as setting up a column, writing as detailed as you can give a descriptive prompt and telling it where and what to research. And based on that, you get the annual revenue as well. Similarly, if I move forward, one of the most interesting bits is what we come to now is how do I give something more to my sales team and my SDR team to work on? How do I give them any relevant signals that can be very relevant to them while they do the reach out? So for that, I want to fill these two columns, which I have gotten from HubSpot. I want to fill them. Right now, they are blank for most of them. Again, for this scenario, I have selected, three signals that I wanted to monitor. There are multiple other signals that you get in the form of templates on our platform. You get all these pre-made signals, pre-made researches that you can do about a company, about a person. And if you want, you can create your own signals using any of the AI models that we have, or using our in-house AI agent by the name of BitAgent. The three signals that I ended up creating were any recent news about the company that would impact their demand. So essentially, any news about the market or the economy in general. So for example, I got this, signal for the case of this third company. I think this is DevRev. So signals like this, the second signal that I did was any very specific announcement either done by the company or done about the company in the last 3 months. So based on this, I was able to get three different signals, any announcements done by the client, any partnership announcements, any event-based announcements that DevRev, for example, has done, that Datadog has done. Now, finally, I want to be very specific if these companies are also organizing an event. This may be one of the signals, for example. Now, these signals are not the ground truth. They can differ for different customers, for different scenarios, for different markets that you operate in. But these are just some basic initial signals that I have tried to set up. So now the crux of the matter is that I was able to combine all those signals into a sort of a single pre-read document, pre-read text that the team can use as a research input when they do a reach out, or if you have a, any outbound activity that you do, this can work as an input to personalize that output as well. Now, the second task that remains is, first of all, pushing it to HubSpot and then scheduling it as well so that it runs on a weekly, monthly, 6-monthly basis. So there are two things that I will need to do for that. One is I again go to this data source. If I click on it, you will see that there is a auto fetch functionality. Using this, I'm able to set the frequency with which this list will be updated and also checked. So for example, at this point, at a weekly level, it will check the list. It will add all the new records. And once those records have been added, what I can do is I go to this run setting and I need to set up three of these things. First of all, auto runs, so that as soon as any new row is added, any new company is added into this HubSpot list, it will come here, all these data points will run, it will automatically go to HubSpot. And what I also need to do is schedule these columns also to run, because for example, researching about signals is something that you would need to do every 45 days. This is what this second HubSpot column where I'm pushing to HubSpot will happen every 45 days. Because we'll do these signals, we'll check these signals every 45 days. And after that, we'll push the results to HubSpot. So for this column, the frequency that I would like to set up maybe is months, that each month run this, check if there is any changes or new signals that have come in and push that to HubSpot. Don't update the other results like revenue, funding raise, because they would be more or less the same. So if I schedule this, it will only schedule this column and all the signal columns that are running. It will run them. So for example, it will fetch upcoming events, it will fetch announcements, it will fetch recent news. And this second HubSpot column, if I show you what is the data point that I'm pushing from here, because I only want to run it once, I don't want it to run every month, because the LinkedIn page would not change every month. Industry would not change every month. The revenue would not change a lot in a single month. So this is something that I would keep constant for a longer period. So I would not schedule this for now, but let's see how this, actually ends up, on the platform. So for example, I'm running it individually, but I could have very well, selected all the rows here and run them. So you see that in all these scenarios, the run has completed. In one of the cases, it is showing me as run condition not met. There is a very interesting reason for that is when I was searching for these signals, I also set up a condition that if the last update has happened earlier than 45 days, then do not do the update. So for example, for Razorpay, this is the second company, which is Razorpay. For Razorpay, the last signal update happened on 22nd of April. So because of that, we do not need to do the signal update once more. And that is why this HubSpot column is not getting pushed. So all these results are updated. Let's go to HubSpot maybe and check out if these results have been updated or not. So let me select any one of them. I'll select HubSpot, for example. So you'll see that all the relevant columns that I wanted to update, the industry, the revenue, the total money raised, the current signals that we researched about, all those specific signals, they have come in as a document, as a text that the team can read, go through when they are making that reach out. And you also get the date when this intent signal was updated. So yeah, I think we started and were able to cover this entire initial or one of the main workflows that you do, starting with a list of signals, starting with pulling leads from HubSpot, doing any kind of research qualification on them, and then finally pushing them back to HubSpot and scheduling it to run for a longer duration at regular intervals. Do try out the platform. We have all these integrations available beginning from even our starting plan. And if you face any issues, make sure to reach out to us. We are available on email. We have a Slack community as well. So look forward to see how you use our platform. Thank you.